the border, why we as the United States have been targeting really a country that's been our best friend in so many ways instead of going back after.
That was not a Canadian politician. That is the head of one of America's biggest unions, and he is defending Canada. This week, two of the largest unions in North America did something rare. They wrote to President Trump's own trade chief, and they asked him to ease off the new tariffs on Canada. So here is the real question. When American workers themselves say Canada is not the enemy, does that change anything at the table? Let's walk through it. This is the Cave Zone. We break down the Canada story, one document at a time, with the facts on the table. First, the tariffs themselves. On July 20th, the White House signed 3 orders. They used a 1930 trade law called Section 338. Together, they put a 50% tariff on about $20 billion of Canadian goods, dairy, alcohol, autos, and a long list beyond that, even cement, furniture, and hockey sticks. Here is the part that stings. Being covered under the USMCA deal does not save these goods, and they are set to hit on August.
President Donald Trump, that his levying of tariffs and the ratcheting up of things, now we've got this 50% tariff threat looming over us, is really hurting possible disruptions.
Sandy? Allison, thank you. Allison Bamford in Saskatoon. An unexpected assist to Canada at a time of challenging trade negotiations. The United Steelworkers International, based in Washington, and the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers have sent a letter to Donald Trump's powerful trade representative.
So who is pushing back? The United Steelworkers and the Machinists Union. Their 2 international presidents, Roxanne Brown and Brian Bryant, signed it. Between them, these unions speak for about 1.45 million workers. And here is why that matters. Those workers are on both sides of the border.
Is who Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc did meet with in D.C. yesterday. In the letter, they are calling on the U.S. Trump administration to reconsider its tariffs on Canada and instead employ a trade policy that is built on the long history and unique relationship between the two.
Their argument is simple. Canada, they say, is the wrong target. The 2 economies are stitched together. Same companies, same supply chains, the same steel crossing back and forth. So a tariff meant to punish Canada, they warn, lands on American workers too. The country they point to instead is China.
To reconsider those punishing tariffs on Canadian goods. Now, the unions argue that Canada is the wrong target, that the real rival is China and unfair trade practices. Now, for these unions to publicly make the case for Canada, well, it really strengthens the argument that manufacturing is deeply integrated and that these tariffs are...
Now let's be straight about what this is and what it isn't. This is a letter. It is lobbying, not a policy change. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer has not answered it. And the talks themselves? Listen to how the reporting put it.
The status of trade negotiations at this point?
Not really. I mean, no one's talking, and there were no real-life sightings, Sandy, from the minister who was here yesterday. We saw that tweet with him and the U.S. Trade Ambassador. They were all smiles, promising more trade meetings and conversations. We don't know if there were any more meetings.
There is one more honest detail. These same unions say, in their own letter, that they have supported several of this administration's trade actions. So this is not simply unions versus Trump. It is unions asking for one target to be reconsidered. And plenty of people watching are skeptical it will move him at all. That is a fair doubt. A letter has no force of law. A proclamation does. Oh, if this feels familiar, that's because it is. Rewind to 2018. Different tariffs, a different trade rep. But the same core question was put under oath.
Decision that it's in the national interest to save the steel industry, then you have to put in place a program that actually works.
Is Canada a national security threat to the United States, justifying Section 232 action against Canada? Yes or no?
In the case of steel, yes, absolutely, because of the nature of the program, for sure. Otherwise, you don't have a program. You don't have a program if you let some...
No, I'm not talking about a program. You have identified a country.
I'm sorry?
You've identified a country. This is a country who uses our equipment. This is a country who has been with us every step of the way, and I guess, again, are they a national security threat to the United States?
Nobody's declaring war on Canada or saying they're an unfriendly neighbor. They're obviously not. They're a great ally and certainly one of them.
Back then, the justification was national security. Today, it is a different law. The tools change, the fight rhymes. So where does that leave us? American workers have publicly taken Canada's side. That is real, and as pressure, it matters. But the tariffs are still dated for August 19th, and the table is quiet. So here is what I'll leave you with. Should Canada keep negotiating and let this pressure build, or hold firm and wait Washington out? Tell me where you land.